Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's time for a little bit of mystery as we unbox a machine that came from Ohio. And I'll give you some clues to try to help you zero in on what sewing machine we might have inside of this box. And it's coming from Terry Moore. Terry Moore bought this machine a little while back and has been having issues with it. Lots of issues with it. So we'll see if we can zero in on what those problems are and get this machine back on track again. Let me go down the live stream real quick and see if I can say some good mornings, and then we'll jump into this. Let's see. Well, no surprise, Susie was first in the classroom today. So congratulations to Susie, and a challenge to all of you to try to beat her in the classroom, for goodness sakes. Watch for that live stream to come on around 9:30 and send that first greeting out, and then you can claim the trophy for that live stream of getting into the classroom before Susie or anyone else. Matter of fact, if you do that, I might send you something special. Also, good morning to Alex out in California. Great to have Alex here, and Shirley as well. And good morning to Tim out in Thorpe, Wisconsin. Let's see who else we have. Good morning also to Teresa. Hey, Teresa. And Teresa, you might remember, just won one of those puzzle boxes. The other puzzle box I've already sent out in the mail, heading towards Melissa out in the great state of Arizona. So you never know on these live streams. I might just pull something out of the archives and decide to give it away. So pay attention, and you can win something really cool. Could be scissors, could be puzzle boxes, could be needles, could be anything. Also, good morning to Deborah Williams. Great to have Deborah here. I think I've seen Deborah before in the live chats, so I won't say welcome to you as a new person, but welcome back, because I don't think we've seen you for a while, so it's great to have you here. Who else? Let's see. And also good morning to Sarah Stitches as well. Great to have Sarah here. And that's our folks in the live chat right now. So at this point, I'm going to focus on this unboxing, and I'm going to turn it over to the leadership team to take care of the family. Okay. So leaders, you're in charge. All right. So let me give you some clues on this box that we're going to open up. Let me give you some clues on this box. See if you can nail it. Okay. So clue number one is this company became really well known when it established a presence in London, England. They established a presence in London, England. And really, people started to take notice of them. Before that, they were on the radar, but they weren't as well respected and as well known until they landed in London. And this company started out kind of slow, kind of like the domestic sewing machine company on the East Coast. They, on average, for the first 48 years that they were making sewing machines, for the first 48 years, they produced on average only about 21,000 sewing machines per year. So really, really low on the production scale compared to other sewing machine companies. Some of you might remember that the domestic sewing machine company averaged around 20 to 25,000 sewing machines a year, and it's because they were all handmade. And those are the same sewing machines that we fall in love with when we look at them, because we know that those chrome portions on the machine are not chrome at all. They're silver plated. So this company that made this machine, like Domestic, was really, really careful about their production numbers. They wanted to do it right. They wanted to build these machines with a handcrafted focus. And so for the first 48 years, they only averaged around 20 to 21,000 machines a year. But finally, after 48 years, they hit a major milestone. They made exactly 100 sewing machines after about 48 years of being in business. So those are some of the clues I'll start you with. Let me see if I can give you any others that aren't going to give the shop away in a sense. This machine that we're going to be unboxing today would have come on the scene in the early to mid 1950s. The early to mid 1950s. So, and it's also kind of the big brother to another machine that would have preceded it. And one of the major changes that this machine brought is that it had a significant number of built in stitches. And it also added a free arm function to the machine as well. The one that preceded it had a very limited number of stitches in comparison, and it was a flatbed machine. Okay. I know these are obscure, but I don't want to make it too easy for you. Okay. I don't want to make it too easy. with Tim in the live chat, it's a risk, huh? I don't know about that. Okay, a couple more clues about this machine in the box to my right. Um, by the time this machine came on the scene, I told you it took this company that became very well known when it established a presence in London, England. And they hit that milestone of 1 million sewing machines after 48 years. By the time this machine came on the scene, they had produced about 5 million sewing machines, about 5 million, still well behind, Singer and other major manufacturers like that. And as this machine came on the scene, it really started to make certain companies a little bit more nervous with the complexity of its technology, which was a mechanical technology, with companies like Bernina. Bernina really started to notice this company and particularly this sewing machine when it came on the scene around the mid 1950s. So I think those are some pretty good clues to get you to zero in on what company we're talking about and ultimately what sewing machine model we're talking about as well. Okay. And if you listen to the music that I'm playing, the music might also give you some clues, also. Maybe not. I just got a message. I'm going to check a message real quick and then we'll continue to roll forward. Give me just a moment here. And also, I could do a sound check at the same time, which is kind of cool. Forward. Give me just a moment here. And also, I could do a sound check at the same time, which is kind of cool. And we seem to be maybe rolling a little bit slow today. So let me know if you have any video or live stream video feed issues. We seem to be maybe rolling a little bit slow today. So let me know if you have any video or live stream video feed issues. We seem to be maybe rolling a little bit slow today. So let me know if you have any video. This guy keeps repeating me. So I'm seeing some guesses. It is not Vickers. It is not Jones. And it is not a Singer 99K. It is not Vickers. It is not Jones. And it is not a Singer 99K. Everything I say, this guy repeats it. Everything I say, this guy repeats it. All right, trying to get our music back. Give me just a moment here. All right, trying to get our music back. Give me just a moment here. All right, trying to get our music back. Give me just a moment here. Boy, that is annoying feedback here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can stop that. All right, I'm going to pause the music real quick. And this music doesn't help much because it sounds almost like this music almost sounds like from a movie Oklahoma or something like that. So it really doesn't help us a lot as far as identifying this machine. But I'll give you a couple more clues, okay, to help you zero in, because now you can see the top of this machine case. And it looks like, I'm hoping that there's better packing on the inside of this case that either Terry did out in Ohio, the owner of this machine, or the people that packed it for her. because right now the packing doesn't look so phenomenal. It looks like someone packed it like this so that it would be a little bit more convenient and easy with the handle sticking out instead of focusing on safeguarding the machine. And I don't mean that to be overly critical, but I'm just making an observation that I don't see any padding around this machine at all right now. I don't know if you can see that in the shot. It looks like we've got the carrying case, and inside of the carrying case, I assume, is the machine. So hopefully, at least inside of the case, we've got some really good padding. All right, so some more clues now, some more clues. This company, let's see, I don't want to give too much to you. I don't want to give it all away. Okay, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. I talked about the little brother of this sewing machine, the little brother. The fact that it didn't have the extensive number of built-in stitches that this model does. Also, that the little brother of this machine did not have the benefits of a free arm. It was a flatbed machine. I'm going to tell you what model that is in just a moment, but I'm going to do it in German, which gives you another big clue about what company this might be. So if you know German, or if you can look up German, you probably will be able to figure out what the predecessor of this model was that was much, much less as far as the built-in stitches and had no free arm. And that model was the model 260. 260. Okay, so if you know a little bit of German, 260 is going to tell you the model that preceded this one. And another huge clue for any of you that have been a part of the family for a long time, this model I prepared for a young lady that was going to be using the machine for the same purpose that the original machine from this company was produced to do. And I know that's a little bit confusing, but when this company was established, its founder, the very first machine they made was designed to do a very specific task. And the young lady that I prepared a model like this for was planning on using that machine for the same purpose, or for nearly the same purpose. Does that help you a little bit? If you've been part of the Cow Country family for a while, you're probably going to know who I'm talking about. I also interviewed this customer as well, talking about the plans of how that machine was going to be used, right? Okay, so I'm going to look at the chat, see if there's anyone zeroing in on this, and I'll put on a little bit more music at the same time. Okay, so Alex guessed the model 360. That would be a little bit later on than this model. So back it up a little bit and you might be able to zero in on it. And I did prepare a 360, but it was for a little girl in the great state of Texas who has Down syndrome. And she still is using it today. Her mother was a part of our leadership team, still is, but doesn't join us very often. She's a teacher and busy doing a lot of other things. And the little brother that preceded this model was, in fact, the model 260. And Tim nailed it. It was the model 260, the FOF 260. So we know now that this is a FOF sewing machine. And we know that I prepared a model identical to this for a young lady that was going to be using her machine that I sent her for the same purpose that the original founder of this company made their very first sewing machine. The very first sewing machine that this company made was made with a very targeted purpose. And that's what this customer of mine was going to be using the same type of machine for a far distance away. I won't go into where a far distance away. All right, I'm still looking at the live chat. I don't see any other guesses. Come on, folks. This is some sort of a duct tape, and I would not put it on a woven type case like this. This stuff can damage a case like this very easily. But I can see now why Terry did this. This case already has damage on it. right, I'm going to pause right there for a second. And for all of you watching right now, I would not recommend ever, unless it's like on the outside of a packing tote, I do not recommend using duct tape anywhere on a sewing machine case or on a sewing machine for sure. And you've seen we've gotten some machines in the old workshop that someone had taped the packing material directly to the finish of the machine using a duct tape like this. And even though this case has some damage on it already, when you attach duct tape to a case like this, you're going to cause even more damage with the stitch points. And you can see as I tried to remove this from the machine, it actually tore some of the stitching right off of the case. You can see some of the stitching there, and that's one of several locations on the case where this duct tape has created additional damage. So I know it's quick, I know it's convenient, but duct tape is not something you want to put anywhere near a sewing machine case or a sewing machine. Just don't do it. Don't do it at all, because it'll create additional damage. Here's some more of the stitching that was torn off as well. I don't know if you can see that on there, maybe not. So yeah, don't use this stuff. Is awful. It's okay on the outside of a packing box or something like that, but certainly not on a case like this or on a sewing machine anywhere. All right, let me take a look real quick at the live chat. I'm going to toss this to the side, and we'll see if we have any more guesses. It's not a Bell sewing machine either. Again, it's not a FOF 360. And Susie had written something about, is there something about to poke through the center of the back of the case? Let me rotate the case around, and I can tell you that this is severely damaged on this side. You see right here, the stitching has come apart. Part of the zipper assembly has come apart as well, and the bottom of the case is basically wide open, right? Wide open there. Oh yeah, Susie is noticing something right here. Something is poking through the case, and I would trust that that's a good sign that the machine inside of here was not padded or packed very well. And I don't know if Terry packed this machine or if someone packed it for her, but I'll try to get a little bit closer to that damage point that Susie noticed right here. And this is, I can actually feel something right behind this. Got another one up here as well. So this case has seen better days. This case has seen very, very much better days. We got some staining here, but that happens, doesn't it? But this whole side right here, you may be able to see, this whole side is in a real bad state. In fact, it's almost like a garage door. You can kind of see right here from the side. That's our machine right there, isn't it? and all I see is some plastic bags. There are some plastic bags that appear to be providing, I don't know if I'd call it protection, but a little bit of filler anyway. What a shame. That really is a beautiful, or I should say was a beautiful case at some time. But I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of packing. It doesn't look like the machine was padded or packed in any way. All right, I'm going to try to start to open it here. We've got a little clasp release right here. You see that? We don't have to do much unzipping because the bottom is all torn away from the case, isn't it? And it's not a Rolls Royce either. Rolls Royce, if you're talking about the 201-2, not a Rolls Royce, not a 201-2 either. Yeah, Teresa, you're right. Absolutely right. George Michel Pfaff did make musical instruments prior to producing his first sewing machine right around 1862. And if you didn't know that, Pfaff did come on the scene a little bit over a decade after Isaac Singer with Singer Sewing Machines, 1862. And again, the big brother of the Model 260, Tim, I believe, got it right, 260. This model followed that, offering a lot more decorative ornamental stitches built in. You don't have to put a cam in this machine at all to get a lot of output on stitches. And it far surpassed the Model 130 that would have introduced decorative stitching for the Pfaff Sewing Machine Company. The 130 that came on the scene very, very early was originally only a zigzag sewing machine, and then they added that embroidery kit to the back of it. Do you remember that? I've shown those to you before. It's like a black coffee grinder type assembly that mounts to the rear of the Pfaff 130, and it gives you a number of decorative ornamental type stitches, but it's very, very limited compared to this machine. Very, very limited. And this machine, again, is the same model that I would have prepared for Heidi, and I shipped it to her all the way in Switzerland. Any of you remember that machine or that interview I did with Heidi? I almost thought I was being punked. I thought I was being punked when I got the initial contact from this young lady that said that her name was Heidi and she lived in the Swiss Alps, and she was wanting to attend an apprenticeship program where she would learn to make leather custom shoes. And some of you might remember that George Michel Pfaff, that was that instrument maker, like Teresa pointed out. The very first machine that he made in the mid 1800s was a machine specifically designed to sew leather shoes, just like Heidi was looking to do in the Swiss Alps. So this machine is a model that's very near and dear to my heart because it was the first and only sewing machine that I ever shipped to the beautiful country of Switzerland. Yeah. Oh, good morning to Robin, and good morning to Jenny as well. Good morning to Robin and Jenny. Great to have you ladies here. Great to have you here. Yay. So has anyone zeroed in on the model yet? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in the live chat yet. The specific model that's in this case. Again, it would have been the big brother or big sister to the Model 260. It would have introduced a lot more decorative stitches built in. It would have been a free arm machine instead of a flatbed like the Model 260. All right, last but not least, I will give you the model number in German. I'll give you the model number in German and see if that gets you any closer. Yeah, good suggestion. Cheryl Cook, and that's a new name to me, but maybe not to some of you in the live chat. Cheryl Cook is suggesting possibly taking this to an upholstery shop, the case itself, or to a saddle shop, and maybe looking at trying to repair it that way. Maybe using a cobbler machine. Does anyone know what a cobbler machine is? I presented one on this channel and actually presented it down by the Bay of Green Bay near Oconto. Yeah. So this one is a mystery to Shirley too. So I'm going to give you the model number in German. So listen carefully. Listen carefully to the model number I'm going to give you in German. And I'm going to offer you something as an incentive if you can get it. Okay. So if you can figure out the model number when I give it to you in German, I'm going to give you a special gift. I'll mail it to you. It's going to be a pack of these leather. Let me bring the camera down here a little bit closer. It's going to be a pack of these Schmetz leather needles, size 110, which is a size 18. Size 110, which is a size 18. And I'm going to give you leather needles if you can figure out the model, because George Michel Pfaff would have been producing leather shoes with that very first sewing machine that he made. Just like Heidi in the Swiss Alps would have been using the same type of machine and model to produce leather shoes in the Swiss Alps after finishing her apprentice program a number of years ago, when I presented that machine. And I also introduced you to her through a lengthy interview over the phone. So if you want to look up Heidi on the channel, maybe you can figure out what model this is even before I give you the number. But these are some amazing size 110, 18 leather needles. You can use them on practically any sewing machine, unless the sewing needle clamp is a little bit more restrictive, because the shank on these is going to be pretty thick. So it won't fit on all of the sewing machines. Okay. It won't fit on all sewing machines. It's just too bulky. So the model is, I think I just dropped something. The model is, and I'm going to look right at you when I do it. The model is 332. 300. Wait, let me check that. Yeah, that's correct. 332 is the model number inside of here. The same one that Heidi in Switzerland would have received from the workshop in Oconto and then took to her apprentice program in the Swiss Alps. And as far as I know, I haven't talked to her in a while, but she's using that machine right now to make custom leather shoes after finishing that apprentice program in the Swiss Alps. Really, really cool to be able to ship a machine all the way to Switzerland, a country that I had a chance to visit when I was living in Germany. What a beautiful country. If you've never been to Switzerland or Germany, make it a point to go there. Put it on your bucket list. Okay. Let me look at the live chat, see if anyone was able to guess 332. 332. Let's see. So Tim said 302. 302 would be 320. 302 would be 320. Jenny guessed. Jenny from out east, one of our leadership team members guessed 306. That would be 306. 306. Keith, I don't recognize the name of Keith as well. So if Keith is brand new to us, welcome, Keith. Great to have you here. Keith guessed 356, which would be 356. 356. That would be 356, because in Germany you switch the numbers at the end. So if you're saying 356, you have to put the 6 before the 5. So it's not 356. Great guess. Very good guess, Keith, but it's not that number. Tim guessed 302. It's not 320. Jenny guessed 306. It's not 306. And then it looks like earlier on, Alex from California said, what about 332? And then Robin from Minnesota said, yeah, what about 332? And if you remember the way I said this model number, 332, 332 is 332. So this is, in fact, a model 332 that would have followed the model 260, which again is 560, and it would have added a free arm. It would have added a lot more built-in stitches that were engineered into the machine, and really marveled people and made Bernina and Elna and other companies like that very, very nervous when this machine came on the scene in the early to mid 1950s. I saw online that some people are saying this machine came on the scene around 1957, but that's not correct. It was earlier than that, much closer to 1954, 55 is when this machine would have been introduced following the Model 260. And so let's take a look inside and see how Terry from Ohio did in safeguarding this Model 332, this 332, and see whether or not we've got a machine that arrives safely by the vintage fairies protecting it, or whether or not we've got some additional damage beyond the case, which is in a shambles right now, isn't it? So let's take a look and see what we find. Yeah, that zipper is pretty much shot. Let me show you this zipper from the inside. There's our zipper right there. And a lot of this material, it's like it's still pretty degraded. It's pretty degraded, isn't it? You remember that? Some of you might not remember this machine, but I got a Swedish Beauty from London, England. Y'all remember that Swedish Beauty that I got from London, England, back at the old workshop? That case for that Swedish Beauty that came out of London, England, and belonged to Adam. You can find that live stream on this channel as well. That that case was in real bad shape also, wasn't it? That was in real bad shape. And you could see a combination of stitching and also glue. Stitching and glue is how these cases are put together. They're put together with glue and also stitching, which I don't know if I'm going to take on the task of trying to repair this case or not. I don't know if I'll do that. Don't know if I have time to take that one on. So there you can get an initial glimpse of the machine, which appears to be padded with nothing more than plastic bags. Let me say, as kindly as I can, but also honestly as I can, this is not packing. This is not packing, especially not for a delicate Western Germany sewing machine like this model 332. Plastic bags provide very, very little protection to a machine like this. And I'm guessing that Terry knows that I've got lots and lots of packing videos on the channel, lots of packing videos on the channel. So I'm a little bit surprised, if Terry packed this, that she packed it like this, because this is wow, yeah. So now we're getting an initial glimpse of the machine itself. Kind of take a little peek at it here. I'm going to throw these plastic bags to the side, back over here where the box is. I'll check those plastic bags, make sure there's nothing else inside of them. But you can see here, we've got the sewing machine, and there's really nothing in the way of padding or protection around the machine. We've got this very, very disheveled carrying case that's being held together with duct tape. And then we've got a very fragile Western Germany sewing machine inside of the case, padded with plastic bags like you would get at Walmart. So, yeah, bummer. So, oh yeah, I'm noticing some congratulations. And Alex was the first one to nail it. Alex was the first one to nail it. So, Alex, I know I have your address out in California, but either during or after the live stream, text me your mailing address, and I'll get these leather needles, size 110, size 18, mailed out to you in California this coming week. Okay. So yeah, congratulations to Alex out in California for nailing the model number on this German machine. Again, if you want to practice a little bit of German, as you look at the letters, as you look at the numbers on this model 332, the way you say German numbers is you take the first number, the 3, which is dry, so it's 300, and then you take the last two numbers and you flip them. So it'd be 332. 332. And some places in Germany, instead of saying zwei, they say svo. So you might also hear it pronounced 332, depending on where you are in Germany. The middle of the country, you're talking in a German pattern called Hessisch, which is High German. And then as you go south towards Bavaria and towards Switzerland, they talk in more of a guttural, low-level type German, and they're a little bit more casual in how they pronounce things. But when I learned German in Germany and in college back in the day, we always said 332. So that's the way I pronounce it. But some people say svo. But look at the packing on this machine as we're looking at this 332. If you decide to send a German sewing machine to the temporary workshop in Minnesota, please don't pack it like this. Please don't pack it like this. I want to see it bubble wrapped. I want to see it stretch wrapped. I want to see these delicate plastic controls protected with some sort of padding. Right now, we have no protection on these. So the whole time, this machine was basically rocking back and forth like this in the case, getting banged around. So whatever damage was on this machine before it was shipped from Ohio, there may be additional damage now. And I don't want to be a downer here, but I'm just being honest, right? Just being honest. Yep. All right, I'm going to pull the rest of these out. Yeah, even the lining on the inside is coming down as well. I don't know if you can see that. Even the lining is coming down. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a comment written by. Is it Live Moments? Or is it You Moments? It's You Moments. Oh, also good morning to Bill. Bill just popped in from Minnesota. So if somebody will give Bill a late pass, that would be great. Okay, and you Moments is expressing a point of view here, saying that the 332 is related to the 230, but not the 260 that you referred to. The 260 was mentioned because it shares some of the same characteristics and was produced in close succession to the 332. Not that they're identical machines, but they shared a lot of the same characteristics. And the 260 was produced just before the 332 was rolled out in the mid 1950s. So they're certainly not identical machines, but I would argue that the 260 is going to be a closer resemblance to the 332 than the 230. The 230 really doesn't share all of the same attributes that the other two machines do. But you know what? It's okay to have a point of view, and I appreciate you expressing it. Appreciate you expressing it. But when you're looking at the model 260 and 332, you're going to find that the engineering on those two machines is also nearly identical inside of the machine. They're going to share a lot of the same design features, some of the same engineering as well. Where the 230 is going to be a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more primitive than the 260, and certainly more primitive than the 332. Does anyone know when this machine is running properly, what is the maximum number of stitches per minute that it can generate? And you remember recently we talked about that machine, the more contemporary Singer heavy duty machine that I prepared for Shri Dathri so that she could finish that project and take that project to India for her mother's birthday. If you remember how many stitches per minute that heavy duty machine, a contemporary machine by Singer, could produce with its 0.9 amp motor, if you about double that number of stitches, that's what, when a 332 is running at the absolute peak of its game, powered by a 1.1 or 1.3 amp internal motor it can produce that number of stitches. So I'm going to look at the live chat, see if anyone nails it as far as the number of stitches that a machine like this is potentially capable of when it's running at the absolute top of its game. And Shirley tossed a number out there right around 2,500, right around 2,500. And she is absolutely spot on. So a machine like this that would have been engineered in the early to mid 1950s is capable of sewing at nearly twice the number of stitches per minute than a contemporary machine put out by Singer and advertised as their heavy duty go-to type machine. So when you get up to that level of 2,500 stitches per minute, you're really sewing at a light industrial commercial speed. I'm not sure why anyone other than doing a straight buzz type seam would need to sew that fast. But if these machines are set up like they would be in the workshop and fully restored to their greatness, they can absolutely fly when it comes to their speed. Absolutely fly. So great guess on Shirley's part as far as the 2,500 stitches per minute. Yeah. Seeing if there's anything else I want to share real quick. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it. We're going to take this machine out and actually check it out initially a little bit and see what we think. And yeah, Al had put down 1,100 stitches, which is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct with regard to the number of stitches that she to threes heavy duty 4423. That one that we just finished in a live stream recently so that she could get her project done. That one was right around 1,100 stitches per minute, which is flying. And I agree with Alex. Wow, 2,500 stitches per minute is insane. It's absolutely insane. But, you know, it's got incredible engineering. It's got a very powerful built-in motor that is driven from the motor directly to the balance wheel with a spoked type. I'm trying to think of the term. I've got a little bit of a cloudy head today. It's got a cleated. That's what I wanted to say. It's got cleated belts that are going to use a special pulley system off of the motor. So you've got a cleated joining point on the motor output pulley. You've got a cleated joining point coming off of the pulley, and then you've got a cleated joining point going around the balance wheel. So it's absolutely the epitome of positive traction direct drive. It's absolutely direct drive. It even has a better drive system than the Swedish Beauties that use a similar relay system, but they have a V-style belt. They don't have that cleated benefit. And the cleated benefit, if you don't know what they look like, they're little metal horizontal joining points that fit right into the grooves of the balance wheel and the output pulley. So there's, you know, assuming they're adjusted properly, there's no slippage whatsoever. There's absolutely no slippage. They do make these belts still. That's a great question that Alex just asked. They do make these belts, and they make them over in Europe, and you can buy them aftermarket. And I don't remember the name of the website, but there also are a couple people that are reselling the cleated belts on eBay as well. So you can buy them as an aftermarket replacement, just like you can buy the timing belt, which is also cleated on this machine as well. But the thing you have to be real careful of is when these models went through different transitions, like the 230, the 260, and then ultimately the 332, they would have changed in some instances the number of cleats and also the spacing that's on the belt. So you've got to be real careful if you order an aftermarket cleated belt that it's appropriate to that specific model. Some models are going to have, for example, 82 cleats. Some are going to have 89 cleats. Some are going to have 84 cleats. And that will directly impact how it runs on the machine and whether or not it's long enough to make its way from the balance wheel all the way through that pulley system down to the output pulley on the motor. So just make sure if you buy it aftermarket, double check with that seller that that cleated belt is going to have the appropriate number of cleats, and do your own due diligence. If you can get the belt off, let's say it broke, then count the number of cleats on that original belt so you can get a direct replacement. But what a great question by Alex. They are available, but they come in a variety of different flavors, and make sure it's appropriate to your model, okay? Oh, hello from Germany, Sylvia Volter. So I didn't know what time it is in Germany right now. Is it evening? Let me check. The current time in Germany. Let's see. What is the current time in Germany? Current time in Germany.
The time in Germany is 4:37 p.m.
So it's 4:37 p.m. So, yeah, 4:30 exactly. So in Germany, we could say to Sylvia, you could, yeah, it's a little bit late to say Guten Tag, but you could say Guten Abend, wie geht's? And, you could say to Sylvia, wo wohnen Sie in Deutschland? Wo wohnen Sie in Deutschland? And if any of you want to ask Sylvia, wo wohnen Sie in Deutschland? That means, where do you live in Germany? Where do you live in Germany? So, but willkommen to Sylvia. Wonderful to have you here. And she's near Bonn, which is northeast of where I would have been in Hanau. Hanau is kind of central Germany, and Bonn is going to be, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a little bit to the north and a little bit to the east. But it is sehr schön, which means very pretty, very nice in Bonn. We had a couple of military, Amerikanische Soldat military bases near Bonhover. Oh, it's northwest Germany. I was the wrong direction. I'm thinking of another thing. Sorry about that. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. It is northwest Germany. And I never made it to the northwest, but I heard very good things about that location in Germany. I would have been central Germany near Frankfurt, and then I would have traveled down to Wiesbaden on a number of occasions with military training and such. But it's wonderful to have Sylvia here so that we can celebrate this great FOF model 332, this 332. So let me get it out of the case, and we'll take a little closer look at this machine, and we'll see how it survived the journey with less ideal packing, right? Less than ideal packing. Yeah, and I don't know, trying to stitch this case back together, I don't know how much success we would have, because a lot of this material you can see is just literally falling apart. It may have been stored in a damp area or otherwise was not kept safely. And the result is that the case is in very, very bad disrepair. So it's possible that it might be able to be glued and stitched, but it would be a challenge, wouldn't it? It'd be quite a challenge. All right, let's get this 332 out, and we'll take a closer look at it. Also notice that the foot controller in the harp of the machine is not padded or protected in any way. There's no padding, there's no protection on the foot controller. So metal against metal, bouncing around inside of the harp area, bumping against the light assembly, scratching against the pillar, scratching against the free arm as well. This is not the way to pack a foot controller to protect the machine and to protect the foot controller itself. And then look at the plug. The plug is plastic also, and there's no protection around this plug either for the machine. So I'm really kind of surprised. I'm surprised and a little bit disappointed at how poorly this FOF 332 was packed. It was sehr schlecht. Very poor. Very, very. All right. See if I can take this out. I'll set this over here just temporarily. Yeah, I don't. I'm really shocked. Plastic bags are not in my list of packing materials. They're just not. Let me sit down and see if I can get over here a little bit easier. Does anyone know what this is? Was ist das? Was ist das? What is this? Was ist das? And Sylvia writes, I'm sure the paint can put up to the metal on. Possibly it can, but foot controllers, especially the one, this original foot controller made by FOF, has a lot of delicate components inside of it, including a ceramic centerpiece. And the vibration for a foot controller like this, getting bumped around without any padding or protection, it's just not a good idea. You know what I mean? It's just not good. So always protect your sewing machines and the foot controllers. So was ist das? Was ist das haben? Was ist das haben? Ich weiß nicht. Ich weiß nicht. What is this item? I don't know. Is it part of the case? Is it designed simply as a padding piece? This could be a chew toy for Tim. This could be a chew toy for Tim and Teresa's puppy. Or Robin is saying, what about a cat toy? And I agree with Sylvia. Maybe it's to pad the machine in some way, but how much padding would it really provide? How much padding, considering the machine was not padded inside of the case at all, it was simply inside of the case, bouncing around like this. Bump, ba 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 bump. And this is going bump, ba bump, ba bump, ba bump, ba bump, ba bump, ba bump. This is better than nothing, but it wouldn't do a lot, would it? I don't think it would do very much. So, yeah. But really amazing design even on the cases. Don't you agree? The cases themselves are kind of a work of art. Have all kinds of different harness points to anchor the foot controller and to anchor other parts of the sewing machine that you might want to place inside of here. Really a thoughtful engineering on here. But I think this case is in such disrepair. I may try to do a little bit of repair on it, but I don't think I'll be able to get very far. Truthfully, I don't think I'll be able to get very far. You can see original FOF there. And Teresa's saying, could it be part of an old handle? Could it be part of an old handle on the case? This looks to be the original handle. It matches the pattern on the case. So it's hard to say, isn't it? I don't know what this is, truthfully. It appears to have some sort of a filler on the inside as well. You may be able to see that. It almost looks like part of carpeting, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a carpeting piece to me. Maybe a piece of a carpet or something that the original owner had in the case for whatever reason. Yeah, I think it might be a piece of carpeting, but I'm not absolutely sure. Yeah, ich weiß nicht. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Here you almost have the kind of looks like carpeting almost, or some sort of a rug, maybe part of a rug or a carpet. It almost looks like a rug or a carpet backing, doesn't it? If anyone's ever laid carpeting before, you sometimes have a backing similar to this on certain types of carpets and rugs, don't you? Yeah, no idea. All right, let me get this very disheveled case out of the way, which is hanging on by very little. Hanging on by very little. I think the zipper on this side is about the only thing holding it together. You got to see a rusty nail here and some of the other remnants that have fallen away from the case. That looks like a rusty nail and then also a pin as well. Yeah. Let's see. I think we'll plug this in. I don't see any bare wiring, so I think we'll plug it in and give this machine or das Maschine, an initial listen and see what she sounds like, what she's doing. Now, does anyone know, as you're looking at this model 300, does anyone know what this Machina is made of? Is it made out of a traditional steel? Is it made out of magnesium, aluminum? How is this machine made? What type of material? If I put a magnet against this machine, am I going to get a response? Let's see. No response. Probably get a response here. But no response on here, no response on there. So what is this machine made out of? Does anyone know? This Western Germany machine? The magnet is not responding to it. It'll respond to this right here. What is this machine made out of? Yeah, maybe an aluminum. Sylvia from Deutschland is saying aluminum, maybe aluminum. It is lighter as I lift it up, but still with the mechanical engineering on the inside, das Maschine ist schwer. Das Maschine ist schwer. It's built well. It's heavy. It's heavy as well. You can see where that weight comes from. You can see where that weight comes from. Look at that engineering. And there's our cleated belt right there. There's our timing belts. We've got twin timing belts on the machine as well. Also cleated timing belts, cleaning drive belt. This is cleated. These are cleated as well. Does anyone know how to get the faceplate off on this so we can look inside of the faceplate too? How do we get the faceplate off on this German machine? Yeah, die Maschine aus Aluminum. I don't know how you say aluminum of Deutsch, but it is aluminum, some sort of an aluminum alloy, isn't it? But I think the Germans use a special type of aluminum that's going to be cast with a lot more strength than a lot of the other aluminum-based machines that would have been built by sewing machine companies. The quality of engineering on a Western Germany machine made of aluminum or anything else is going to be built much, much better. Very, very well built and rugged. Does anyone know how to get this faceplate off? Does it just pull off? Nope. Is there a release down here like on some of the Singer machines? Nope. No release down there. There's a single screw right here that we can take out to remove the faceplate, which I think we'll do real quick. But before we do that, I think we're going to fire it up, because if I take this plate off, the auto needle threader is going to get in the way of the needle bar. It's going to get in the way of the needle bar, and it might jam the machine up as we're trying to run it. So I'm going to leave this on for right now. Got our presser foot up. Yeah, I think I'll plug this in. I'm going to take out the bobbin case first. So I can get my finger on it. I see one of the problems. I see one of the problems right now. The bucket that's part of the raceway is not in the correct position right now. The bucket that's part of the raceway is not in the correct position right now on this machine. Can you see that right there? See if I can hold the machine steady. You see this part right here that's rotating? This part right here that's rotating? That should not be rotating. That should not be rotating. There's an anchor point for it right on the bottom of the free arm cover, and this is out of position right now. This is out of position right now. Let me go on the camera side here. See if I can show it to you. It's going to be better if I can tilt it back. So this part right here is out of position. See where I'm rotating it? This should be in a fixed position, just like when you take the throat plate off, say on a featherweight. If you have a featherweight, you've taken off the throat plate to clean off the feed dogs in that. You always have to make sure that the little finger is in the correct position so that the hook system can turn and the bobbin case can be in a fixed position, right? you don't want the bobbin case turning with the hook system. And that's what's happening right now. Look at that. That's what's happening right now. So this is out of position. This right here that I'm pointing at should be in a notch underneath here at about the 12 o'clock position. So it's not even really safe to operate the machine right now with it in its current position, because it can jam up on the bottom of the throat plate and the feed dog cover. So that's something that has to be addressed straight away. See if I can get out the bobbin case at least. And I think the bobbin case is jammed in there as well. It probably got banged against the bottom. Let me see if I can get it out. Yeah, this is totally out of alignment. Even the bobbin case won't come out. Let me see if I can rotate it a little bit further. Yeah, this is out of position, so it's even causing the bobbin case to bind in there. Let me see if it'll turn all the way around without hitting anything. That's hitting the bottom of there. Hitting the bottom of there. So that is not good. See if we can adjust that real quick and fix it. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to put our presser foot down. We'll rotate the machine back. Yeah, it's totally in the wrong spot. These are a real nice screwdriver set for getting into tight places. If you haven't seen these before, they are a ultra low threshold screwdriver, and they come with a standard and then also the Phillips as well in a variety of different sizes. And they're really nice because they've got a natural little bend to them, so that when you're trying to get into a tight space, you can meet up with that screw without getting into a space or a clearance issue. So I'm going to see if we can do that without taking this entire cover off. See if we can get this this bucket back into the proper position so we can actually operate the machine. I don't know if I'm going to be successful in doing that or not on the spot. Yeah, that is just totally out of alignment. Let's see what I can do here. But what I want you to see again is this part of the hook assembly right here with the bobbin case inserted should be in a fixed position at the top at 12 o'clock, and right now it's rotating, which is not good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in here or not. I'll give it a try. I can't get just the right angle on there because the hook system is getting in the way a little bit with its current position. But this has to be loosened, and then there's a little finger point there that this has to be lined up with again. I'll give it one more try, but it doesn't seem to be quite the right angle, even with this specialized screwdriver. Yeah, it's really, really stuck. It's probably going to take a torch to get that loose, but I'll show you what I'm trying to get at right now. Even with this screwdriver, I'm having some difficulty. Right there on the bottom, you can see that screw. I'll point at it with a screwdriver. Right here, we have this this screw or this bolt that has to be loosened so that this little finger right here can slide in between here, right there. So this little finger should be in the position of here right now, but it's slid out of position. So this whole assembly is rotating, and it should be in a stationary position being held by this right here. And you can adjust this in or out by loosening this screw, but I'm not getting the right angle on it right now, and I don't want to damage this screw, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. We'll just plug the machine in, we'll check the light, and maybe what I can do is I can disengage the clutch and we can just fire the motor up at least and listen to the motor. But if I try to operate this right now, the bobbin case assembly is going to be hitting against that finger assembly right there because it's out of position. And I can't force it into position either. It's almost in position right there. It should be at the 12 o'clock position as I'm rotating it. You can see that. This right here should be right behind this. So right now we're in a position where we can actually cause damage to the machine if we try operating the machine, along with the fact that I don't see a needle in the machine because someone probably tried to operate it like Terry and they broke the needle off. They broke the needle off. Yep, they broke the needle right off. Sylvia is making a suggestion, but it doesn't relate to what I'm trying to do down here. The issue here is the basket assembly that holds the bobbin case has come out of position, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the tension dial or the unless Sylvia is talking about the faceplate coming off, then she would be correct. Yeah, the faceplate, that's where we'll focus next because I can see that we're not going to be able to operate the machine as it is right now. So we should have a lot more success in getting the faceplate off now that we know we're not going to run the machine in a traditional way in its current condition. So we're just going to loosen this screw right here. And this will release the faceplate so we can look at the inside area of the needle bar and the presser foot bar if we have to make any adjustments. The only trick when you're putting this back on is you have to make sure that you get that needle threader back in the correct position again. There's a space right here for that needle threader to slide in. So when you put the faceplate back on, you want to make sure that you put this pin right here into this slot right here. Otherwise, if you somehow don't get it into that slot and you operate the machine, this needle threader is going to interfere with the movement of the needle bar, and it's going to jam the machine up and maybe cause some damage. Yeah, that's the inside of the faceplate area. Yeah, there's our jam point right there. So as I get to that point right there, inside of here, as I turn the balance wheel very gently, inside of here, that basket that's holding that bobbin case is hitting the top of the raceway. So you definitely don't want to operate them as it is right now. And then right here, and I think Sylvia was pointing to it, right here on the inside of the faceplate, if you want to take out this assembly right here for the upper tension, first of all, lower your presser foot down so that there's no pressure out against the upper tension unit. And then right down in here, there's going to be a screw that you can loosen. There's going to be a screw right here that you can loosen to pull that entire assembly out so you can do a detailed cleaning on the assembly. The entire assembly will come out. As a matter of fact, I'll show that to you right now. So down in here, it might be a little bit hard to see, but right down in here, there's a screw. See if I can get that screwdriver in there. It may be too big. Maybe I'll get a light too. Put a little bit of light on the situation. Oh yeah, this screwdriver is going to be a little bit too big. Let me go to a smaller screwdriver. So we got our larger screwdriver in there now. You can see where it's positioned, right about there. And now you're going to turn it a little bit counterclockwise. See if we can loosen that screw without having to heat it up with a torch. You heard that little pop? That little pop is that screw letting loose. Give it a couple more turns. Pull it out of there. See if that's enough to remove our assembly. Not quite. It's still stuck in there, and that could be a combination of caramelization and other things that are holding it in there. Whoops. I caught it with my legs, thankfully. Now, as you take this upper tension out, you'll see that someone was not understanding why the machine was binding. They didn't understand why the machine was binding. They did not notice that the basket in the raceway was out of position. So they're turning the balance wheel to a certain extent, and then it's binding, and they're thinking, if I put more oil, maybe that will cause the machine not to bind anymore. But you've got metal hitting metal down here in the raceway right now. So putting all this oil, a crazy amount of oil, is not going to solve the problem, is it? It's not going to solve the problem. Now, the other thing to be careful of when you're taking apart or taking out one of these upper tension units on a Model 332 like this, that's a lot of oil. Good gravy. When you're taking out one of these assemblies, inside of this assembly, you already saw that I've got the pin release right here, the large one, but there's also a tiny little one that should be inside of here as well. I hope it's not missing. Let's see if it's in there. And there it is. It was really gummed up in there. So my point is, when you take one of these assemblies out, be incredibly careful that you don't tilt this and lose this little pin. I'll show you how small it is compared to the other one. You see that? And when you're putting this back together, that little pin will go inside first. And then it gives a little bit more reach to this pin release. When you raise that presser foot lever, without this little one, if you raise that presser foot lever, it's not going to take the tension off the discs. You've got to have this little extension piece inside of the assembly to give it that little additional reach. So this has to be torn apart and cleaned, but I'm going to put the little one in first. Look at all that oil. Isn't that crazy? More oil is not the solution if your machine is not performing well. Don't drown your machine in oil. It's not going to do any good. It's just going to gum the machine up. And then once you get that little pin in, then you can put the larger pin in secondly. Okay? Like that. And you've got an assembly like this, right? I'm going to go ahead and put it back in for right now. But first of all, I'll show you all that oil inside of this reservoir as well. It's literally drowning. You really don't want oil in conjunction with your upper tension anyway, other than the pin release that I just showed you. You can certainly lubricate this pin release so that it moves in and out more freely. But if you put this much oil in, it's going to also get on the tension discs as well, isn't it? And you don't want oil on your tension discs. The thread is going to pick it up, and it's going to cause all kinds of other problems with how the assembly operates. So we're going to slide this back in now so we don't lose anything. Slide this back into position. And whenever you're putting a tension assembly back in like this, make sure that your pressure foot lever is down. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it into the proper position. This is going to be a little bit cumbersome to get back into place, isn't it? There we go. You can see there as I'm activating the pressure foot lever, it is reacting properly in releasing the discs. But there's so much work that's going to have to go into this machine. It's really, really in bad shape, isn't it? We'll go and tighten that screw again down real quick so that that's secure. Get our light over here again, get our screwdriver into place. See, I'm just screwing it back down. And when you screw this back down, add just a little bit of pressure in so that you know that it's in the correct position, so that pin release is going to activate the release of the discs the best. Sometimes it'll pop out a little bit and you'll lock it into the wrong position. So put a little bit of pressure here, pressure foot down, pressure in, and then tighten that screw down all the way. So I'll put this faceplate back on now. Again, the thing we want to make sure of is that we get this little pin right here into place in here. Got to kind of rotate it out so it's pointing out. Slide it back into that little pin release, and then you have to kind of work this back into position against the machine so that it's connecting up with that bolt on top, and it's going to screw properly into place. And now we've got our needle threader out of the way of the needle bar so that it's not going to interfere with the machine. Once we get that basket back into place down in the raceway, then we'll be in a good place to operate the machine. But for right now, at least we know that our needle threader is not going to interfere with that because it's in the proper position, right? And you notice as well that there's a adjusting screw. I'll just show this to you as best as I can. There's an adjusting screw right there on this needle threader. There's an adjusting screw right here. And when you're bringing the needle threader down, if it's not rotating properly, this is a screw right here that you have to adjust. Sometimes it's too tight and it doesn't allow that to pivot. So when it comes down like this, you'll get that far and it doesn't rotate. When you adjust this screw in small increments, you'll be able to get it to rotate on that shaft properly like that, so that it actually can be used to thread that needle. But this is a very common occurrence where someone will find this screw, they'll tighten it up, and then they'll go to use the needle threader. It gets down to there, and it does not rotate. It does not rotate. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Melissa. Great to have you here. Melissa is Glasgow, the last in the live chat right now, and she is excitedly waiting to receive her puzzle box that's heading towards her out in Arizona right now. Incredibly excited. So, and then the other puzzle box again is going to go to Teresa, so that she and Tim can check out those cool little parts and everything. And let's see, Sylvia, that's tiny. Catch. I'm not sure. Sylvia had written higher up in the live chat, something was clean. I didn't see anything clean on this machine yet. I didn't see anything clean yet, but maybe Sylvia from her vantage point saw something clean. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful news. But this machine is in awful shape, isn't it? Awful shape. I believe this would have been, and don't quote me on this, I believe this would have been one of those machines that came from eBay. This would have been an eBay machine, I believe, that the seller said was fully serviced. Fully serviced. I don't think so. No. So I'm going to disengage the clutch. Let's see if we can at least fire this machine up. See if we can rotate this a little bit. We got our power cord as well. We'll plug that into the back. So we are getting a light. Yay. We are getting a light. Again, we cannot operate the machine right now because the basket is out of place and it's gonna strike that setting pin. It's gonna strike that setting pin. So all we can do is disengage the clutch over here and see if we can fire up the motor at least. See if we can fire up the motor. I don't know about you, but it sounds like we're getting something that's rubbing. It could be the alignment of the cleated belt coming off of that pulley where it's rubbing against the housing, but I'm hearing something rubbing. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up or not with the microphone, but we're getting some rubbing in there, and we're definitely at full capacity. We're not going to be hitting that 2,500 stitches per minute. This machine has a lot of power that we've got to restore to it, don't we? And if you've never seen inside of the side of a 332 before, let me see if I can turn it around a little bit. I'll just temporarily take the foot controller off. We've got four pins, or excuse me, four screws or bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 that can come off so that you can view that motor assembly more readily. You can also view it from the bottom, but it's a lot easier to see it here. So I'll just pull those out real quick and we can take a look at that motor assembly. Let me check the fit on these. Now we're getting a call from Minnesota. Somebody from Minnesota right now trying to get my attention. See if I can reach them. Hello, this is Scott. I'm in a live stream right now. Can I call you back?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, brilliant. And what was your first name?
Karen.
Karen, I'll call you back in just a little bit. Okay, dear?
Yeah, no rush. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Susie can attest to the fact that since I came to Minnesota, the Minnesota people are so excited. The Minnesota folks are so excited to have cow country in Minnesota, even though it's temporary. That we get calls constantly from folks wanting to have that level of service on their machines, right? Wanting to have that level of service on their machines. They're used to a real low level service on their machines, and they're excited about getting a better quality service, aren't they? Yeah. And that one's kind of weirdly recessed. I think we'll use a different screwdriver on that. That one might be broken off. Let's see if we can get it out. Take that power cord off as well, so we're playing it safe. Oh, now I'm just getting a closer look. That screw's actually missing. We're missing a screw on the side of the motor cover. I thought it was stuck down inside or maybe broken off, but it's missing completely. So here you can get an idea of how that pulley system works as we're looking at the side of Terry's machine. You see right in here, I'll raise the camera up a little bit. This is that pulley assembly right here that's adjustable. Right now it's real loose. See how loose it is? That cleated belt should be gripping it. And right now it's incredibly loose. And this is adjustable left and right. This is adjustable left and right. So what we need to look at doing, whoops, got it. What we need to be looking at doing, I almost took out the microphone. That was close. What we need to look at doing is adjusting this so that it's making better contact with that cleated belt. Loosen that a little bit. Well, that's really loose. That's part of the problem. So as I loosen that, you see that this can slide, or it should slide. Let me get a box underneath that. Hold on a second. We get two boxes in there. This should slide in and out to create better tension against that cleated belt. It's kind of stuck right now. You see that whole assembly can come out. It's designed to turn. And the ideal thing is to get this so that it's pressing against there with enough grip that the belt is not going to slip when it's turning. So we're going to try to get that in there. Slide this out a little bit further. That belt is a little stretched out, so we're having to go a little bit further than usual. And then we're going to tighten this back down. And sometimes you have to also throw a washer underneath that little bolt so that it's getting a better grip on that pulley adjuster. So now we're at the proper tension. See how that works? We're almost adjusted to the near end of this. So I'll look at probably adding a thin little washer so that it distributes the pressure on there a little bit more evenly. But compared to the way it was when we opened up the side where this was basically just flapping, it's incredibly loose. You see now we've got a much better operating situation where that cleated belt is not going to slip on this pulley adjustment. See that? And now if we plug it in and operate it, we're probably going to get better power output as well, because we're not going to be losing that energy in the process. We'll slide this back on here, and we'll plug our power source back in. And now when I engage that foot controller, let's see what kind of response we get from that pulley. Now we're not getting any slippage, are we? So if you have a FOF 332 or a 260 or a 230, any of those models, even the 130 that initiated this whole phase, are going to have similar adjusters. They're going to vary a little bit, but always take off that side cover and make sure that this is properly adjusted so it's gripping those cleated belts properly and you're not getting the slippage. What we were getting before is this was slipping over this quite a bit, and now we're getting some really nice positive traction off of there, aren't we? Quite nice. It still is not even close to full power, but at least we're not letting this slip anymore. You can see it's gripping there very nicely. And if you're looking at the view shot right now, you can see that if you wondered where is the serial number on a machine like this, you can see the serial number is right here inside of the engine compartment. And I don't have my magnifiers or my light on, but I'll see if I can read it to you. And if someone wants to look it up, you can certainly do that. See if I can find my flashlight. Where's my flashlight? Somewhere around here. That doesn't help when I shine it. It's actually easier to read it without the light on there for you, isn't it? But it looks like, let's see here, 6341250. 6341250 is the serial number. I'll move the light so you can see it as well. Hopefully you can see that serial number. So if anyone wants to try to look it up, go ahead and do that. And maybe we can get even a more targeted date for this model 332, right? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, as far as I can see it, at least 634 1250 634 1250. Susie captured it in the live stream already in the live chat. So hopefully some of these little tips that I've shown you today on this model 332 will be helpful to you if you get a Western Germany machine like this, or to any of those that watch this as a video later. Maybe they've wondered, how do you get that upper tension assembly out? How do you get the faceplate back on? Why am I getting a horrible clicking sound in the faceplate area? And it's probably because they didn't line up that auto needle threader properly. Or why is my balance wheel locking up when I try to turn? I can only turn it this far and it won't turn any farther. And then all of a sudden they think about the fact that that basket down in the raceway may be out of alignment and it's binding against her as that's trying to turn, because it's not designed to turn. That basket and the bobbin case are supposed to be stationary in the sewing process. And right now they're trying to turn with the entire hook assembly. And that's why this machine is having some major issues, right? So that's about all that I can show you right now, because until I get that basket back into position and get it adjusted properly, I can't really safely operate the machine. So hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully, if you're going to be sending a German sewing machine to the workshop, that you don't pack it like this. Don't pack it like this, because it really doesn't afford any safety or protection to that vintage sewing machine as well. So pack it properly, and if you got one, I'd be happy to work on it before I transition down to the south, right? All right. God bless everybody. Thanks to the leaders, and congratulations again to Alex for winning a pack of these size 18 leather needles. And Alex will probably text me shortly after the live stream, and then he'll be able to enjoy these leather needles with some of the sewing he's doing out in California. And it looks like Sylvia from Germany wrote down 1958. 1958. So this is a little bit later 332, isn't it? These would have come out 1954, 55. So this was one of the later production series of the 332 Maschines for FOF, right? This would have been much later. And today is Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to have something ready by Tuesday to present to you. So it's possible that we will end up skipping this Tuesday as far as a live stream. It's possible we might skip this Tuesday. So if you don't see us pop up on Tuesday for a live stream, don't be surprised. The next machine that I'm working on is going to be this one right over here. And this particular one is a Singer 128 that belongs to Kate. And the Singer 128 is going to be a 3/4 size machine. It's really quite lovely. Does anyone want to take a quick peek at it and see it before I end the live stream? If you do, I can take off this bentwood cover and we can take just a real quick peek of this machine that I'm going to be working on next with wiring and a number of other issues going on with it. Yeah. All right, I'll take that off real quick. Let me see if I can open this case up real quick. I'm also going to see if I can get this 332 in a safer position than it is right now. Let me get these boxes out of the way and set it down so it's flat. And then I'll work slowly at putting this machine back together again. So I'll have to go to the local hardware store here in the Twin Cities and get my friend at the hardware store to find me another one of these screws. So we have all 4 screws for the side of that motor cover for this 332. Otherwise, it might vibrate a little bit, and that'll be annoying. All right, let's get over by this other machine, and I'll see if I can show this to you. Put our cover back on real quick. Just move this completely out of the way. Move the foot controller out of the way as well. And we'll move this one over here. Let's see it, back it up the camera just a little bit more. See if we can get this to open up. These are always a little tricky to open, aren't they? Hopefully I have more success than usual. And this is kind of an odd little thing that I did, but originally when I got this machine, from Kate. It had a little wire piece up here with this key attached, and it was kind of rubbing on the top of here when you move the case around. So I took some heat shrink type material that Susie and I got at a local store. It's called Axeman, and I slid this heat shrink stuff over a piece of wire so that Kate, instead of trying to take the key off every time she wanted to open the case, this would be protected against rubbing against this bentwood cover, and it would also give her enough reach to get to the key opening right over here. So a little bit of an adaptation that I think she'll be really pleased with when she sees it. All right, so we'll set that up there. This over here, we'll rotate this bentwood cover back. Absolutely spectacular faceplate. You can see right here, the scroll work on this is amazing, I think. Beautiful scroll work on the front of here. And then we look at the wiring, and then it becomes a little bit scary. See if I can rotate this around and you can see the wiring on it. And part of this is simply the cloth material that they used to wrap these cords with, but it's also brittle as well. So all of this is going to have to be rewired. This will all have to be rewired to ensure that it's safe to operate. Along with these cords over here that plug into the foot controller assembly that's inside of the machine, and it's housed right in here. And these are also in bad shape as well. You might be able to see those if I bring the camera over. These are also looking really brittle, and someone tried to wrap them up a little bit with some sort of tape here. But yeah, the reality is that there's going to be quite a bit of wiring on this job, and this is why, I'm very confident I'm not going to be able to get this done by Tuesday. It's already Saturday, and to do all the wiring properly and then do all the mechanical work on the machine and such, it's going to take quite a bit longer than Tuesday. So, but yeah, it is a lovely machine, isn't she? Quite a beautiful pattern on here. Does anyone know what this pattern is called? What is this pattern called on here? You can see almost like a maple leaf right there, can't you? Look at that center part right there. That's so majestic, isn't it? Quite lovely. Would someone like to look this up for us? I'll show you the serial number. And if one of the leadership team members would type the serial number in the live chat, let's look it up and see what the date is on this machine. Would someone be willing to look that up, please? It looks like G 0148393. G 0148393. Let's find out what date this machine is and confirm that my hunch is right, that it is in fact a class 128. You can see right now from the perspective, it's clearly a 3/4 size sewing machine. It doesn't look like it's full scale, does it? Yeah, very nice. Yep, Sylvia is absolutely right. Vibrating shuttle, spot on. Spot on, vibrating shuttle. And notice that this is a later model. How do we know it's a slightly later model? It's because it has an ejector right here, doesn't it? See the little ejector? A lot of the vibrating shuttles, when you're trying to get them out, you need to push on the point and pop the butt of it up like this. You have to kind of push down. It's kind of hard for me to get my finger in there, but you push down on the point and then the butt of it pops up. You get your fingernail and you can pull it out. This one, it's got an ejector on it, which is really quite a state-of-the-art thing, isn't it? Quite a state-of-the-art thing. Very, very nice. Very nice machine. Really quite lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Someone said 1911. Is that correct? Before 1924. Did someone actually look it up? It looks like we've got Alyssa saying before 1924. Sylvia from Germany is saying 1911, question mark, or exclamation point, I think. Exclamation point, excuse me. Is it 1911? I don't know. I didn't look it up yet. I don't think I did anyway. Yeah, I haven't looked it up yet. So maybe we can look it up together real quick, huh? See if we can look it up real quick together. Let's see here. I'm going to go over to the Singer sewing machine serial numbers. Let's see here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the screen or not. So just type in Google, Singer sewing machine serial numbers, like that. And then we'll go to Ismax. And we'll scroll down a little bit. Looking for a G series. There's our G series right there. Use Dexter equipment. All machines sold with a warranty. Rebuilt in Chicago. Ships anywhere. Wow. Good. Good to know. Okay, so we're going to close that. And now we're looking for a 014 prefix, which is going to be right at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, it's not going to be at the beginning. This is where it gets to be a little bit tricky. You can see we start with 6-digit numbers up here. So the immediate assumption would be that it would be somewhere right at the very beginning, like right there. But that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, right? That's only 6 numbers. So we've got to scroll down a ways, don't we? We've got to scroll down. So we get seven numbers. Let's see here. Let's see here. 0, 4. What date are you getting? Let me see what folks are saying. Yep, 7-digit serial numbers. Correct. 7 digits. So we're going 0148393. 7 digits. Is it further down? Am I going too far? Are we going too far? Do we go too far? Which way do I go? Someone tell me which way to go. This way? Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, the screen doesn't do a good job of displaying it, does it? I'd probably be better showing this to you on my phone. Here, I'll rotate so you can see the machine and not see a screen that you can't read anyway. January 1911 is what Teresa is finding. Let's see here. What are you getting as far as the model number, Teresa? You said January of 1911, but are you getting a model number with it as well? Because I'm getting an odd outcome as far as the serial number. I'm getting an odd outcome as far as the serial number. The first, you're not going to be able to see it probably on the screen here, but the first 7-digit number that starts with a 0 series like ours, 0148393. Making sure there's not an 8-digit that kind of was stamped off, is actually showing a different model. Did you get the same results, Teresa? Where on the 7-digit number that we have from the serial number, G0148393, what model is it telling you that this is? And it's clearly not a Model 66. This is not a Model 66. This is a Model 128. So we've got a bit of a dilemma as far as the serial number not matching the model that we know that this machine is, right? This is not a Class 66. This is your telltale sign right here. The 127, the 28, and the 128 all have this little maintenance access portal on the front, right? They all have this little access portal on the front for servicing the machine needle bar area. So we've got a dilemma with ISMAX telling us that based on the serial number G0148393, that this is a Class 66 machine. It is not. So the machine was either misstamped, or what else could have happened that it doesn't line up correctly? ISMAX could have made an error, couldn't they? Because the closest 128 we have, where is it? 28, 128. Yeah, this could be a 28 as well. So we might be just a little bit off. This could be a 28K on a Britain, or a 28. 128 is also going to be, and there's several different subclasses within the 128 series. Now, this also resembles, you're not going to be able to see it on the screen, but if you Google the 28 and 128, they're going to look very, very close. And our serial number doesn't help us, does it? Our serial number does not help us. So what do we have then? What are we seeing on the screen? Or you can see on the screen right now. We've got a serial number according to ISMAX, which is a very reliable source. We've got a serial number that's telling us it's a Class 66. Clearly not. And then if we look at 128 and 28 models, they're going to be very, very close. I'm just trying to click on one here real quick. Hope I clicked on the wrong thing. Yep, our 28K is going to be real close to the 128 design as well. I'm even seeing some filigree decal patterns that would indicate that this also could be a 28 series K machine out of, yeah, but the decaling's a little bit different. It's a little bit different on this 28K. Interestingly, though, this 28K is going to use some of the same attachments that I just sent to Melissa in the puzzle box, and that Teresa and Tim will receive as well in their puzzle box. Some of these attachments will actually work on some of these early 28K machines that have the vibrating shuttle. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery, isn't it? I'm going to look at the live chat again. I was on another screen. There is no, I do not have a manual with this machine. Let me make sure that there's not one underneath. Nothing underneath either. The one thing that will help us to narrow this down, and I'm going to leave this to all of you to figure out and share at the next live stream we do, which again may not be this Tuesday, it may be this coming a week from today, this Saturday, is this is also a knee controlled machine as well, kind of like the 99K13. So we can look at the filigree pattern. We know that Ismax is saying it's a class 66 in the G series. We know that it's not. It could be a 28K. It could be a 128 or a 128K, but it's also got a knee control function on it instead of a traditional foot controller or a hand crank or a treadle belt. So let's see if we can figure this out. Melissa did some research, and she's saying the Singer sewing machine was made in 1923 in Elizabethport, New Jersey, in a U.S. factory. Now, Melissa, share with us how you found that out and what model the source you looked up is saying that this is. What model is this machine? Melissa is saying 1923. Some of you were thinking 1911. And Melissa's saying a little bit later, and a little bit later makes sense. It makes sense because it's got that ejector on the shuttle. It's got that ejector on the shuttle, doesn't it? That ejector on the shuttle was a later addition to these models because people got fed up of trying to get their fingers in there and pop that shuttle up. So they added the ejector in the 1920 timeframe. But we still don't know what model this is. Is it a 128? Is it a 28K? What are we looking at here? We'll have to figure that out, won't we? We'll have to figure that out before I go to present this machine on a live stream. Otherwise, we won't know what to call this thing, will we? Yeah, yes. Sylvia has nails. Look at my nails. I cut them yesterday. I got like no nails at all. No nails. So I would be there. I would be there for a really long time trying to get that shuttle out if it didn't have the ejector, wouldn't I? I'd be there for a really long time trying to use my nails. So let's see if we can dig into this more. And by the time we get together for the next live stream or video, which may be a week from today. It may be a week from today. Let's see if we can narrow this down and find out where the glitch is. There's a glitch on Ismax. Ismax tends to be a very reliable source. But on this one, we're finding a machine that, where is it? Melissa is saying it's going to be from the 1920s, but there's no model number that she can find on the machine. So what happened to this machine? Did it fall off the radar for Singer? Was it made in the US? Was it made in Scotland? Was it made in Britain? Where was this machine made? Is it a 28K? Is it a 128? The mystery continues, right? The mystery continues. All right. So I'm going to wrap up this live stream now. I'll put on a little bit more music to celebrate the machine that we unboxed. Celebrate the machine we unboxed, which is that FOF 332 323. Wait, 332, excuse me. 332. I need to drink more Diet Coke. Yeah, the 332, and then we'll see if we can figure this out, right? X-Files music, please. Can't help you there. I don't have any X-Files music. I'll put on something else. Something else. Let's see what we have here. Why don't we put on a little bit of ragtime music? A little bit of ragtime music. All right. God bless everybody. Thanks to the leaders. And we'll see you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.